Peace be with you. You won't find it here.
I'll tear you apart!
Witness the kingdom. Domain expansion. Eternal sanctuary.
No.
It is finished.
Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and I guess that cold spell is over. It's early. I'm very excited. This is the day I'm supposed to get the Gemini mailers and the labels for the label machine. So I'm gonna make all the labels today. I don't know, man. I haven't done this in years. I'm excited. Actually, I checked my stamps.com. Apparently, I sent a ton of stuff about a year ago. I don't remember what that was. But anyway, so since I'm very excited, like it's Christmas or something like that, I get up really early. I don't really have the energy to do much. Although I've been binging Silicon Valley, but it's actually really stressing me out. So I always like workplace comedies where they don't spend a lot of time on like personal lives or dating or stuff like that. But this one's like we're like having an actual job, like a stressful job. I thought it was going to be like these wacky. I thought it was going to be like The Big Bang Theory, but a little bit more realistic. No, man, this is like stress, and I'm only in like the middle of season 3. But anyway, while I'm kind of like looking for some minimal brain activity, I see that Critical Drinker did a video about Avatar, and so I wanted to see if he had any thoughts. And I have to reiterate this because this is the strangest thing that ever happened. And I don't hear, like, there's not an entire industry of people who don't know the rules of football and hate football talking about football all the time. Like, they literally just don't understand it. But his thing is like, he's like, oh, I'm not just going to shit on Avatar. And then he basically does for 2/3. He starts off with a terrible analogy that Avatar is like fast food. A franchise where the movies come out once every 10 years is like fast food. Then he gives some like light lip service to like it being good in some ways and then just starts trashing it. So he never really sticks any kind of landing that I can tell. But it is interesting because I had a little chat with ChatGPT the other day. And it was about James Cameron. Because, you know, with Predator Badlands coming out, people are talking about it, all social media and TikToks. And one of them is that the Mandibles, well, kind of famously, the Predator started filming with Jean-Claude Van Damme as the Predator in a completely different costume. And then they're like, this is not working at all. He's not big. The costume looks dumb. So, they redesigned it. Although, honestly, I kinda... if I ever found out that this was a myth or greatly exaggerated... Now, there's actual footage of them there. But the thing is, like... Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just one of those things. It's strange, it's hard to believe, but it is real. So, they replaced it with, like, this 7-foot-tall guy in the Yautja, species that we now know, although I guess technically the previous failed one was also a Yautja. And the mandibles it has on its face came from James Cameron. Now the interesting thing is that James Cameron did not work on Predator in any way. He wasn't a writer, he wasn't a director, he wasn't a producer, he wasn't an executive producer. He used to work in the special effects department. He didn't even do that. He was literally just friends with the guy redesigning the Predator, and they were on a flight to Japan. And this is what I love. It had a whole conversation with ChatGPT about it. Now, if you actually like movies and have even a basic knowledge of them, you know that James Cameron has this reputation for being like this very gruff guy who will like yell at people at sets. And he's very stern. And you talk to like Ed Harris, and he was in The Abyss. And Ed Harris is like, I don't want to talk about that fucking movie. Don't ask me about that fucking movie. And apparently just filming it was just a miserable experience. So he has this reputation as a taskmaster, not a taskmaster. But he's much more complex than that, because this is what... Now you would think, this is the late 80s. So Cameron hasn't had, all his hits yet, but he's had Terminator and Aliens. So especially in that, Starlog era, he was very, very, very successful. So you'd think he'd just be some rich, successful guy who's like, do it like this. And he did it very differently. What he said to, I think it was Stan Winston, he says, I've always wanted to see an alien with mandibles. And you see the subtle, actually not that subtle, what is it called? Emotional intelligence. Now, as a more successful guy in the same field, he could just, hey man, just do it like this. Hey, oh, did you write and direct Aliens? Did you write and direct The Terminator? No, you didn't. Shut up. You're the special effects guy. No, he did this very savvy about human nature suggestion that was accepted because it wasn't presented as in some asshole way, and everybody loves that design. You can do a lot of variations. They're all recognizably Yautja. And so I had this whole conversation. I was like, James Cameron is this interesting guy because he has this reputation as kind of like this drill instructor, but he's also worked with all of his ex-wives, and when they are his ex-wives. So he works with his ex-wives more when they are ex-wives than when they are wives. And he maintains these relationships with his ex-wives for decades, which is strange. And they don't really have anything bad to say except for he was a workaholic. He also, has all these, feminist tropes in his work, environmentalist, and he's this archetype that I've discussed a lot, the conservative hippie. The guy, usually, he's going around in flannel. He used to be in, the Navy. You don't know exactly what he does, something with radios or something like that. And then the other thing is these guys always, I mean, they're basically autistic. They always have the hottest wife you've ever seen, ever. And no male friends. It's the weirdest thing. They don't socialize. They just attract the most beautiful women and just roll. So I had a conversation about this guy who's like very strict, very demanding, and yet excellent at maintaining relationships, excellent at forming bonds with people. So this is going to take, now let's go back to Corpus Christi in the early? I don't know. Sometime in the 90s. It's like the time that, True Lies came out. And I discovered something very interesting about Hispanic culture, at least then. Somehow, every Mexican American knew that Ron Howard from Happy Days was a director, and they knew which movies he directed. They didn't know any directors of any other movies. Maybe they knew George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, but they knew Ron Howard. And Ron Howard would do like genre stuff like Willow, but he would also do like, just regular, non-genre stuff. And it made me realize that with some creators, there is this bond. In the 70s, everybody watched Happy Days. So everybody knows Ron Howard, and he was on Andy Griffith as well. So they formed this bond, this positive bond. And James Cameron has this positive bond. People who can't name 3 directors can name James Cameron and accurately tell you which movies he directed. He's, the epitome of the cool uncle. And a cool uncle you might not see for years, and you don't know where he is. He's like, he was building bridges on the Sinai River. So you're like, I thought he was like a radio guy. It's like, he was a radio guy. And then in his 40s, he went back to school and he became an architect. It's like, okay, this guy just knows a lot of things. He's good at a lot of things. And that's, when you hate movies and you hang out with people that hate movies, you don't know basic things like every person at every factory and every fast food place in America knows who James Cameron is. Even if they kind of barely even know what a director is, they know what he is. They know he made Terminator movies. They know he made, Aliens. They know he made, frickin' Titanic. I like how these guys who cover movies for a living and hate them, they'll just hand wave like movies like Titanic. It's like, oh yeah, he made Titanic. It's like, isn't Titanic like the biggest hit in the history of movies? I don't know, maybe Gone with the Wind. Adjusted for inflation. It's so fun to be a fan. And every conversation involves me, going to the inflation calculator website to figure out, what $1982 apply to right now. But yeah, if you hate movies and you fake watching movies and you hang out with people who hate movies and fake watching movies, you don't know the most basic thing about movies, in that everybody knows who James Cameron is and everyone has a positive view of him. So you got a guy who's built up this incredible goodwill through the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And he goes, hey, I got this idea. It's kind of crazy. I don't know if you like it. I'm going to spend like $1 billion on it. And it's called Avatar. It's about like these blue aliens. It's, kind of like Fern Gully, the last rainforest. And there's like some Marines and mechs. And I don't know. Maybe you like it. And everybody went to it. And then, to my shock, everyone went to the second one. But again, getting back to these people who hate movies don't understand basic things, like most people don't hate movies. I was trying to make an analogy, and his fast food one was terrible. And it goes like this. You don't really like motorcycles, but your coolest uncle is doing a motorcycle jump right in front of your house. Are you going to go see it? Yes, you're going to go see it. You're going to invite people. It's really something interesting. Your cool uncle, who's always doing kind of weird, fun things, now he builds ramps. And he's not doing the jump, but he hired a guy to do the jump. And the guys looks pretty cool. And it's going to be a whole production. And so you go and you watch something and you love it and you have a great time. And then you forget about it. One of the weird things they do is they go like, they'll talk about a movie that was good, but they want to hate it. So they're like, it didn't reinvent the wheel, and it's not something you'll be talking about 6 months from now, but I guess it was good. That's what movies are. Like, it's so weird that they hate movies, and yet they make them into some sort of religious experience. Going to the movie theater and having fun for 2 to 3 hours, and then going to Denny's and talking about it, that's it. That's the experience. And then, if it's on streaming, I saw that with this friends, and we went to this theater and we liked it. And then we went, I had the Superbird at Denny's, and they put, the thing about the Superbird is it's too much turkey. Okay. You got to tell them, put half of the turkey. It's a whole turkey. It's ridiculous. It's my favorite thing at Denny's, but there's always too much turkey. So, and they never understand when they go, don't give me all the turkey. They always give you all the turkey. Just take it out. Take it out with your hand and just put it on the side. It's too much turkey. Maybe that's the title for this. Too much turkey. Why do people go to see Avatar even though they don't really like it? So do people like Avatar? I think it's kind of, that's not the question. The question is, do people like James Cameron? And the answer is yes. So when he does something kind of silly, and when I went to go see the first one, I walked out into the lobby and stayed out there for like 40 minutes. And I don't think I had a smartphone back then. So I think I was just kind of like going to the bathroom as an activity, like ordering one of those, sandwiches that take a long time, just kind of wandering around and looking at the posters. And man, when I went back in, they were still doing the same shit they were doing 40 minutes ago. But then like 20 minutes later, they had that giant battle at the end, and that was good. And then the second one, man, I don't think I've gotten even 20 minutes into that movie. I can't take that shit. But I like James Cameron. Am I going to go see the Avatar movie, the third one? Fuck no. I wasn't able to finish the second one, but I'm not going to goo goo gaga and well, this isn't goo goo gaga. They literally don't know. The other thing that's interesting about Avatar is James Cameron, he started with a lot of sci-fi stuff that appealed to sci-fi fans, but it also appealed to general audiences. One of the interesting thing about the people who really love Avatar, and again, basically everyone goes and sees it because they like James Cameron, is the people who really love it are the people who usually don't like like aunties, your mom, they fucking love Avatar. Sci-fi fans don't. They're like, I go see it. Well, whatever, I'll go see it. So the only time that Critical Drinker got anywhere close to like a good theory was when he said like they really try and they do a lot of work. And then he showed some clips of the making of one of the movies. One of the things I liked is they were on a stage that was going to be replaced with a digital background. But they had built these levels, like Kramer, so that when people were walking, they were walking up like, this plywood hill. And that's one of the things, whenever they have that, like the Star Wars TV shows, which are the worst thing in the world, except for half of them are good. But they'll use this volume set, except for they're clearly in a soundstage. So everyone is on the same level and they're walking through a desert, but there's no micro terrain. They're not like walking up and down. They're just walking totally flat on a soundstage. And it's really fucking obvious. Where, with Cameron, he'll do stuff like put some levels of plywood and people will kind of walk up and down with like the micro terrain. Yeah, that's cool. I still don't like these fucking movies. I gave 1 1/3 of them a chance, and there's no ill will at all. Like, I'm glad that people like them. I think people are just kind of showing up in droves for James Cameron, and they're like, oh, there's going to be, I don't know, things are going to move on the screen, and I like this guy. But that's my take, and if you don't agree with me, woke Marvel will kill you. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.